Welcome to another edition of In the Zone with yours truly, Anthony. Don't get it mixed up with what y'all hear on that sports radio. I am not that In the Zone. As a matter of fact, I was around before In the Zone popped up on the radio. No, I'm not taking a shot. I'm just stating facts. There's no animosity. I enjoy that guy on there. It just so happened the time that he's on now conflicts with the time that where I work at. There's a couple of guys on, which I am a employee of KFH, the Odyssey Group. So I support where I'm at. Anyway, put out a video, and now I'm doing a podcast looking at the top 10 quarterbacks going into the season, as well as looking at the salaries of these quarterbacks. And you will find out that the top 10 quarterbacks going into the season doesn't automatically equate the top 10 in salaries. And I am going to go ahead and dive on into this right now because, my goodness, you would be blown away when you hear the top 10 list. And then you look at the salaries and you say something about that just doesn't quite add up. Once again, you're on the zone with Anthony, and we're looking at the top 10 quarterbacks going into the 2024 season. Of course, at the top of that list, Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs QB, 2023 stats, he threw for 4,183 passing yards, 27 passing touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 7 yards per attempt, 63.1 QBR. Considered one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Coming in at number 2, Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens QB, 2-time NFL MVP. 2023 stats includes 4,102 passing yards, 25 big-time throws, 83 passing grade. Number 3, Brock Purdy, San Francisco 49ers QB, 23-7 record as a starter, 2 NFC title games, 1 valiant Super Bowl effort. Number 4, Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills QB, 41 big-time throws last season, playoffs included, 2.9% turnover-worthy play rate, career best. Number 5, Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals QB, ice in his veins, decision maker with assassin-like accuracy, MVP caliber play when fully healthy. Number 6, C.J. Stroud, Houston Texans QB, yards, touchdowns, and big-time throw numbers all placed in the top half of the league. Clutch moments and drives that were well beyond his years. Number 7, Jordan Love. And remember that name because we're going to look at something concerning Jordan Love and the type of salary that he's looking at, the reason he's holding out. 90.4 passing grade with 27 big-time throws and just 10 turnover-worthy plays from week 8 on. Number 8, Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville QB, ranked in the top 5 in big-time throws, 33, but struggled with turnover-worthy plays. Number 9, Justin Herbert, Los Angeles Chargers QB, top playmakers Gus Edwards, Joshua Palmer, Quentin Johnston, Ladd McConkey. And number 10, Zach Wilson, New York Jets QB, top playmakers Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Corey Davis, Tyler Conklin. As for the top QBs by salary, you will be shocked You got Atlanta's QB top playmakers: Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Darnell Mooney. Kyle Pitts, top blockers: Jake Matthews, Chris Lindstrom. Josh Allen, QB Bills, top play. Matter of fact, let me see what we can pull up here. As we take a dive into the salaries. Here are the top quarterbacks based on salary and contract worth. Coming in at number 1, Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals, with a contract of 5 years, $275 million, average salary $55 million, guarantees $219.01 million. Number 2, Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville Jaguars, contract 5 years, $275 million. Average salary $55 million, guarantees $200 million. Number 3, Jared Goff, Detroit Lions, contract 4 years, $212 million contract. Average salary, we're on Jared Goff, there we go. Average salary $53 million, guarantees $171.61 million. Justin Herbert coming in at the number 4, Los Angeles Chargers, contract 5 years, $262.5 million. Average salary $52.5 million, guarantees $218.73 million. Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens, 5-year contract, $260 million, average salary $52 million, guarantees $185 million. Next, Jalen Hurts, Philadelphia Eagles, contract 5 years, $255 million, average salary $51 million, guarantees $179.39 million. Kyler Murray, Arizona Cardinals, contract 5 years, $230.5 million. Average salary $46.1 million, guarantees $159.79 million. Deshaun Watson, Cleveland Browns, contract 5 years, $230 million. Average $46 million, guarantees $230 million. Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills, contract 6 years, $258.03 million. Average salary $43 million, guarantees $150 million. Then there's Kirk Cousins rounding it out. Atlanta Falcons, contract 4 years, $180 million. Average salary $45 million, guarantees $100 million. So now you ask the question, why isn't Patrick Mahomes on that list? Here's a man that's won 3 Super Bowls already. They own the AFC West division. Even last year was not one of their best years. Receivers couldn't hold on to the ball. But you heard his passing numbers, his statistics. I'm surprised he won MVP. But this is what we're faced with. And if you think that's something, Jordan Love is holding out so he can pretty much reset the quarterback market. Well, how is that possible? Well, right now, Jordan Love signed I don't know how old this news is, but I'm going to give it to you, then I'm going to bring it up to speed. That's what Jordan wants. Jordan Love signed a 1-year extension with the Green Bay Packers worth up to $22.5 million with $13.5 million guaranteed. Love's 2024 salary is $11 million with a cap hit of $12,775,731. Incentives, his contract includes salary escalators worth up to $9 million, tied to performances and team success. Love and the Packers are in negotiations for a long-term extension, but he's holding out of practice until a deal is reached. Love is also represented by David Mulgeta and Andrew Kessler of Athletes First, the same agency as Aaron Rodgers. So what is it that Jordan Love is actually seeking? Well, here is the breakdown of why come he's not in training camp, and this is what he's seeking after. Jordan Love is seeking a long-term contract extension with the Green Bay Packers with the following details. Duration and value. A deal potentially worth around $600 million, although the exact duration and value are yet to be confirmed. Mutual interest. Both Love and the Packers have expressed mutual interest in a long-term extension, with Love affirming that negotiations should increase following the Packers' mandatory minicamp. The sticking points. The primary sticking point is reportedly money rather than structure, with Love's team putting pressure on the front office to finalize the deal. Is there optimism? Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst has expressed optimism about reaching an agreement, stating that both parties want to get a contract extension done before training camp. Love's performance went like this. Love's impressive performance in 2023, surpassing Packers legend Rodgers and Favre in their first season as starting quarterbacks, has strengthened his case for a long-term deal. So I just want to ask you this question. Did Jordan Love do enough to pretty much demand the contract that he's looking for? Think about that. Tell you what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to take a break. And when I come back, I'll have some more for you on In the Zone, so stay locked in. This is yours truly, Anthony Smith. Be right back. Welcome back to In the Zone with yours truly, Anthony Smith. The other podcast that is literally going coast to coast with the news that I give you in the content. We're pretty much all over the globe, touching up on all sports. That first segment, we were looking at top 10 quarterbacks and the salaries and how it doesn't match up. And even looking at how Jordan Love wants $600 million. Only thing missing is the length of the contract, but they want it. I mean, some of these prices are just outrageous. I mean, it's going to have to get to a point where they're going to have to put a cap on these salaries. Now, imagine you're a coach and you ripped someone a new one pre-draft only to have to end up coaching them on what would have to be outside the NBA championship, the grandest stage of them all, the Olympics. Well, that is definitely the case right now. As Steve Kerr ripped Anthony Edwards during pre-draft workout, the quote that was out there, not the type of guy to give $50 million to. So as I pull this story up, imagine you're Steve Kerr and you passed on this guy. This guy has actually literally come back to haunt you and your team, and now you're having to coach him in the Olympics. we are going to get you this story. And for some reason, technology is not working with me. So bear with me as we had it right there and then we lost it just like that. So hopefully, as we wait for technology to catch up with us, whoever thought we'd be saying something like that, waiting for technology to catch up with us. That is the case right now, though. We're waiting for technology to catch up with us. So we're going to start this from scratch again with this story because I find it fascinating. And we have it right here. So I did all that rambling just to wait to get this story so I can share it with you. Anyway, Steve Kerr and young star Anthony Edwards are working side by side for Team USA in the 2024 Olympic Games. Naturally, their complicated history has come to the surface and fans have been left in shock to see what Kerr told him during a pre-draft workout years ago. Kerr had his doubts about the guard from Georgia who put up big scoring numbers that didn't always translate to team success. First impression was it was hard to tell whether he was going to be good or not because he was just so raw, Kerr said via The Ringer. He was so young and he was full of energy, which we loved, but we just worried about. Was he going to be a worker? Because he didn't know anything. The workout did little to sway Kerr's opinion. Kerr stopped the session after an hour and tore into the guard. He was like, imagine everybody walking through the door has 50 million, Holland recalls Kerr saying. Because the way you're working out, you're not the type of guy to give 50 million to. The Warriors had the second pick in the 2020 NBA draft, and there were 3 players under consideration: LaMelo Ball, James Wiseman, and Anthony Edwards. Of course, the Timberwolves took Edwards with the first overall pick, so it really came down to 2 players for the Warriors. Whatever they saw in Edwards that night, it was enough for Kerr to call off his draft pursuit for good. For Kerr, the key to success for any potential young star was humility and hard work, which he didn't see in Edwards at the time. Instead, he just saw a talented kid with an overinflated ego. Makes you wonder in this situation just who really does have the ego. Eventually, the Warriors settled on James Wiseman in hopes to find a quality big man who could establish a permanent place in the rotation. As we know, that assessment was horribly wrong. Sadly, the Wiseman era in Golden State was short-lived after he failed to crack the rotation in 3 years with the team. Through 60 games, Wiseman averaged 9.9 points and 5 rebounds per game on 54% shooting. He was traded to the Pistons in the 2022-23 season. Meanwhile, Anthony Edwards has emerged as one of the best young players in the league. He's the star in the face of the Timberwolves with averages of 25.9 points, 5.4 rebounds, 5.1 assists per game on 46.1% shooting. And may I add, it also has translated into team success, something that Kerr said he didn't think could happen. I just had to throw that in there. It wasn't part of the script. I scripted it in there. It's fair to say that Kerr and the Warriors made a huge mistake by not drafting Edwards when they had the chance. he could have elevated their team to another level and extended their dynasty for at least a decade more to come. Instead, Kerr will have to live with coaching him for Team USA, where he's clearly made a strong impression on his coaches and teammates. It seems to empower Edwards to prove the doubters wrong, and now that he's on the world stage, he's surpassing every expectation. After leading the Timberwolves to the conference finals this May, Anthony Edwards intends to build on his success and prove to everyone that he's ready to take up the mantle as one of the best in the world. By the end of it, he'll be making Kerr and the Warriors regret turning him away. Wow. Wow. What more can you say then? Wow. One of the things I also want to look at before I come to a close, I want to look at some previews. Because you know we're coming up on the college football season. And I would like to see some big-time college football previews starting with the Big 12 and see how things may shape out to be in the new look Big 12 conference. Right now, the way things are shaping up, in the Big 12, is shaping up like this. The Big 12 Conference will have a different look for the 2024 season with the addition of 4 new teams: Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah. And we have some key points about the upcoming season. Newcomers who are expected to thrive. Utah is predicted to win the league crown, followed by Kansas State and Oklahoma State. Tough schedule ahead. Arizona State faces the toughest schedule in the Big 12, playing all the projected top contenders. Changes in the conference. The Big 12 will have 16 teams for the first time, with Texas and Oklahoma leaving for the SEC. The conference schedule. The conference schedule has been released, with each team playing 9 league games without divisions. The championship game, the Big 12 championship game, will take place on December 7th at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. And now here is the predicted order of finish for the 2024 season. Utah with 21st place votes. Coming in number 2, Kansas State with 19 first place votes. Number 3, Oklahoma State with 14 first place votes. Number 4, Kansas with 5 first place votes. Number 5, Arizona, 3 first place votes. Number 6, Iowa State. Number 7, West Virginia. That would be an improvement. Number 8, University of Central Florida. Number 9, Texas Tech. Number 10, TCU. Number 11, Colorado. Number 12, Baylor. Number 13, BYU. Number 14, Cincinnati. Number 15, Houston. And number 16, Arizona State. So there is your brief outlook as to what to expect coming out of Big 12. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take one final break. And when I come back, we're going to put a bow on this show Hope you have enjoyed it thus far. So don't you dare go nowhere. Stay locked in the zone. We'll be right back in a moment. Yours truly, Anthony Smith. Welcome back to In the Zone with Anthony as we get ready to close things out. And another interesting report has surfaced. Yeah, we're looking at the NBA again. That last segment was a little bit of, if you want to deem it, controversy between a coach and a player, and how things usually come full circle, to where sometimes you have to eat those very words that you spoke and probably live with a little bit of regret. Now we move into another NBA topic because a particular coach is getting an extension. And I guess you could say deservedly so, because who would have expected the Knicks to go on the run that they went on this past season, only to come up short. But in coming up short during the offseason, they have even added some pieces. And it's the fact that whereas players might have been one time, no, I'm not going to New York, but you insert Coach Tom Thibodeau, and now you got a slew of players who played at Villanova who wants to come and play with their Villanova mates. And now you have a team chemistry that's bar none, has to be one of the best. You got one of the other players in the league on that team, Brunson, who's one of the faces of the league as well too. You put all that together, and you have a team that might possibly next year be able to make another run at possibly getting into the NBA championship. That's right, I said it. And that does not mean that I'm a New York Knicks fan, but you look at the outlay, and it's right there. And unlike the last Knicks team that made the playoff run, you know, you don't have a Latrell Sprewell, a guy who threatened his coach's life, but you have players that want to actually be in New York, play in New York. And even with some of the reports that came out about Coach Tibbs from some of his past stops, it appears that these players actually want to play for Thibodeau. And he is getting rewarded because the New York Knicks and head coach Tom Thibodeau have agreed to a 3-year contract extension that takes the veteran coach through the 2027-28 season, per multiple reports. ESPN first reported the news. From a playoff results standpoint, Thibodeau is already by far the most successful Knicks head coach of the 21st century. Since the former Chicago Bulls and Minnesota Timberwolves coach took the reins of the Knicks in 2020, New York has reached the playoff 3 times and won 2 series after 5 berths and 1 series win in the previous 20 years. Point guard Jalen Brunson has been an integral part of that success since arriving via free agency in 2022, becoming an all-star and the Knicks' best player under Tibbs' watch. The Knicks are going all in on their contention window around Brunson and have surrounded him with several valuable role players, including Brunson's former teammates Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, and the newly acquired Mikal Bridges, as well as versatile forward OG Anunoby. Thibodeau has twice been voted Coach of the Year, including in 2020-21 after leading the Knicks to the playoffs in his first season. They went 50-32 last season, their best record since winning 54 games in 2012-2013, and fell 1 game shy of reaching the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 2000. So there you have the contract extension that Coach Thibodeau's getting. And of course, you heard the names of some of the players that have been surrounded by Jalen Brunson as well. So, with that being said, I'm about to wrap things up here. Hope you have enjoyed today's version of In the Zone with Anthony. I will be back again, bring you some more great content. Tell me your thoughts, what you think. I want to send some shout outs like I do on all my other podcasts. I like to send shout outs because shout outs are in order. As I looked at my shout out list, it is growing. Shout out to Sports Life Talk Media, some new friends I have met via the internet. You brothers is off the chain. Y'all need to listen to their podcast. I promise you, if you listen to talk radio after you listen to their sports podcast, you will never listen to talk radio again because there's never a dull moment. You listen to sports talk radio like I do. And I ain't gonna lie, I listen to it, sports talk radio, also listen to podcasts. And there is a big difference. Trust me, there's a big difference. In sports radio, you may have some moments like, I tuned into this and I listened to this for 30 minutes of my life, which I won't get back. But with Sports Life Talk Media, there is never a dull moment. Yeet. That's right. I said it. Yeet. Anyway, it is time for me to get out of here. Hope you have enjoyed the show as much as I've enjoyed bringing you this show. Until the next time, take care of yourself and each other. I'm out of here. It's time for this brother to go to work. I'm out.